Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Tekken 7, believe it or not. Now, listen, I actually have, you'll notice in the title of this stream it says drawing. Okay, well, first of all, I feel like first of all, you're going to notice I don't have a face cam. I'm not going to have a face cam tonight. I think if I don't have a face cam, I'm liable to stream more often. Uh, so I'm definitely going to do face cam, but maybe not every stream. Anyways, the plan, okay, it's not much of one, but the plan for tonight is that I'm going to first check and make sure you can hear me in the stream audio. Hold on. For tonight is that I'm going to. Yes, you can. Okay, good. Um, and then we're gonna play some Tekken, just some treasure battle, as per usual. Maybe I play against some real players. Who knows? And then I actually am of a mind to draw on stream. I haven't done that in a long time. I only really did it like once or twice back in the day. Uh, so I just thought it'd be cool to bring that back. I was like, we got now we can have two things consistently going on, right? Streaming Tekken, streaming art. So that's the plan. That's probably what I'm gonna do. I did start the stream. Well, it's 9. I'm starting my stream about when I normally would, 9:30. Uh, so we are probably gonna be here for 3 or 4 hours. I don't really know. I haven't drawn in a while. If I get into it and I'm just like not feeling it, because I kind of am like self-conscious about drawing on stream. But it's also like it's not a big deal if I make some bad drawings, whatever. But I feel like it would, if anything, live streaming it would actually make me more likely to get better because I'm gonna actually like lock in. It's gonna activate a part of my brain that wouldn't be activated normally, just drawing in isolation. So that'll be interesting to see. Anyways, but yeah, if I'm not feeling it, I will just go back to Tekken. I did like last stream. I will say, was like a little disorganized, a little too disorganized for my own taste. I just didn't like how I just like bounced around everywhere. I want to kind of be a little bit more focused. I also maybe got a little too drunk. Anyways, I say all that to say we're back. We're streaming again, and there's not much else to add. I don't think. But I do feel like I was going to say something for sure. Uh, Oh yeah, the other thing. When it comes to like transitions, I mention this every stream, and I just don't do it. I swear to God, like after this stream, I'm gonna learn like I'm gonna set up my hotkeys and everything so that you don't see me clicking in and out of OBS and it doesn't look all crummy. Like it makes me look frankly amateurish. Clicking in and out of OBS like that. I promise the next time I stream, we will have that fixed. Anyways, let's get started. I'm not going online. We're doing Treasure Battle. I was actually already playing the game earlier, and then it kind of hit me. It was like I don't really feel like doing all the face cam stuff, but I am playing this game. I was like, why not just stream without the face cam? I feel like it's better for me to stream more often and not always have face cam. Let me know what you guys think, but how could that be a bad thing, right? It's not like I'm gonna stream less, like with face cam less than I normally would. You just have more streams in general. Anyways, what fit are we rocking? I actually played against, I was playing Treasure Battle against a bot that used the swimsuit and it did something to me. We might play that. Also, this outfit is really nice, actually. We'll do this. But, I was kind of thinking, if I'm going to get back into streaming, and that's kind of why, by the way, face cam off, because it's just kind of a lot. My appearance, it's just kind of a lot. So I think it's going to be good to have some streams without that. It's just a lot. I always say, I was thinking about, me being back on YouTube, and I thought, back on the internet in general, really. And I kind of thought, if I'm going to get back into this, I'm going to make a number of changes, some of which are obvious, like streaming instead of making standard videos, but also like just kind of opening up a little bit more. Like if I'm gonna, if I want people to invest in me, I gotta kind of let them know what they're investing in and what I'm about, and open up a little bit, because that's not really something I've done before. And I even did that in some of these past streams. I talked about stuff uh, that I just would not characteristically talk about normally. Um, this guy's just not letting up. Finally nailed that new combo I was talking about. That's it. It's up. It's up 3, 3, 3 plus 4. I've also been kind of earlier today. I was kind of branching out a little bit and asking myself, hey, what other characters would I like to play in this game? Because that's normally what I do, and it's normally what everybody does. Is you learn one character good, you get comfortable, and then you move on. Now, if you're somebody like Mr. Punishment of God 7681, you might just play whoever the fuck, and it doesn't matter. But that's not how I approach these games. Maybe I should. It does. It can be interesting what that does for you psychologically and how it makes fights pan out. In a way, it can actually, it works out to his advantage a lot of the time. It makes him harder to predict, and I kind of noticed that myself. If you kind of just learn some attacks. Oh my god. Alright, ult crouch, fuck it. Bitch. You're done, buddy. You're done, buddy. You're done, buddy. I noticed that even at this, we're at a relatively high rank right now. And even at this rank, the AI really don't use their rage, which is a shocker to me. They are getting better, noticeably, but they don't use their rage yet. I'm sure that they will later, and things will get a lot more difficult, but it'll also help me prepare for playing against people in, actual real people that use their rage. I also noticed when I was messing around with other characters, which I'll talk about who I was thinking about playing in a bit, but I noticed, oh my god, that, oh my god, it's anybody's game. It's anybody's game. It's my game. There we go. I noticed that the rank, like you see, I'm Usurper. I just fought a guy who's a Vanquisher. You can see in the top left and top right. And that's what I'm doing is I'm slowly ranking up in Treasure Battle as I unlock cosmetic items for the character I'm playing. Hello and welcome to the stream, Isaiah. Always nice to see you. We love you. We appreciate you. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. When I switched to other characters that I was thinking about learning, I noticed that the rank reset, and I was like, oh, so there's kind of I was like, oh, these AI are mad easy. I thought I was playing super well. And then I realized it resets. So that might be what we do in time. And I gotta be organic about it. I can't force myself to learn every single move Lily has. I mean, I can. I'm certainly capable of it, but I don't really think that's the way to go. Oh, shit. That kick, by the way, I learned how to... I do that on accident all the time. Now I know how to do it. It's detrimental. There's, the kick game with Lily is actually, frankly... I would say astonishing. If you learn, there's a few important kicks, well, there's a lot of kicks. I could really, if I wanted to, if I were so inclined, I could probably win fights literally just using kicks. And not even have it be come on now. Not even have it be a challenge or harder than usual. So actually it's a legitimate way to play. With Lily, I would say. How you been doing lately, Isaiah? I have, I don't know if I've been streaming relatively often. We probably talked recently, but how are you doing? How's your day? What's going on? What are you thinking about? What's good in the hood? I even tried playing Lucky Chloe, by the way. I played, let's see, the characters I was looking at were Lucky Chloe, Negan, whatever his name is, the guy from The Walking Dead, and who else? Master Raven, and I think those are the main ones I was interested in. Oh yeah, Chainsaw Girl, Elisa as well. That's also, that right there is a fancy new move I learned. If I do it right, I can turn it into a combo, but it's not easy to do. Because every launcher you have will like send the other person in the air by a certain amount, and you have to change your timing for each one. So like, ooh, ooh, ooh. There we go. You have to, the timing on the air time for that to hit the combo, it's not difficult, I'm just not used to it. But no, yeah, we'll figure it out. I remember when I played Dead or Alive 6 back in the day, I started with Christy, and then I got nice and used to her, and then I switched to Rachel. And I actually played Rachel so much that it was like not even like a left hand, right hand. It was like, oh, I'm actually almost more comfortable. I almost knew more with Rachel than with Christy because I was later into the game at the time. Whoa. Okay, so we gotta block low and she does that rage. That was a rage, right? Anyways. Then I played Marion, then I played Nico. But I don't know what that's one of my things I like in a fighting game is okay, I get used to a certain character and then I learn more characters and it's fun. And then you can kind of somebody's really predicting you, then you can pull out a new character and now they got to figure everything out again. So it's good to have. Been fine, been on that gooning streak lately. Wow. And funny you say hood, I was friends with a lot of wannabe hood people in school. I'm white, but what's more pathetic than me? White people who act gangsta. Yeah. Nothing like a good old wigga. In the school, I remember, school bus, 7 a.m. Now, me myself personally, I sat in the back of the bus, but so did they. So it was always an interesting experience. All the ne'er-do-wells, okay, sat in the back, and I was a ne'er-do-well of my own kind, but still a ne'er-do-well. So trust me, I know exactly what you're talking about. I knew my fair share. Honestly, I fucked with the Wiggas. They were fun to talk to. I find something endearing about a white guy acting black. I don't know what it is exactly. And it's almost like when they do it low key, when they're low key about it, it's like it's okay, but I kind of like it when they're over the top. Like, I don't know, bling bling from Johnny Test, like okay, that sounded weird. Not as in like I'm attracted to him, but I mean like over the top, wigga. That's what I meant. Like that as an adult. Fuck. Anyways. Don't take that out of context. Alright, I don't know if you saw this move, but check out this new move I learned. Yeah, it can be annoying though. I'm not I don't wanna downplay. It can be very annoying. Like when they don't like do it right, or it's just a person that you don't really fuck with, and it's like, oh man, fuck you, fucking wigga, but it could be good to have to know somebody, white chocolate. It can be good to have a white chocolate individual on your side. They can be cool. Yeah, but as far as the gooning streak is concerned, I don't really do that anymore. I used to kind of be like that, but I don't even honestly. I probably don't jerk off more than like once a week at this point. And honestly, it's probably partially just me getting old, right? Like, is it me being in a different place sexually, or is it like I'm just old and my sex drive is going down? But I'm 25. You don't lose your sex drive at 25. I did lose my hair at 25. I lost my hair at 23. So who knows? Maybe I do have a problem here, but I would like to think that I've just become a more, controlled individual in general. It's a crazy subject of conversation, but I want to contribute. When somebody brings up a topic, I want to contribute to it. Oh god. Yeah, you're done, buddy. You're done, buddy. You're done, buddy. You're so done. You're done as fuck. You're done as fuck. Just watch me win the fight with just these kicks. Never mind. working. Oh! I've never seen him hit that before. I've never seen that in my life. This guy fucking kicked... He nearly kicked my ass earlier. You know, a particular genre... Sorry, I just read your comment again and I just keep thinking about it. Particular genre, I knew a Wigga who... It's like a very specific... Like he liked Eminem, and obviously, you know, I already said he's a Wigga, but like, he was also into like the Confederate like flag. He was like, you know, repping the Confederate flag and shit. He was just he had a lot going on. Interesting character. You know, there's something like, I don't know, just something about it. Like I said, it can be endearing. I said he suddenly came to mind to me, and I was like, oh, it's like archetypical Wicca. How did I not mention him? It's like, you know, when they're like into black culture, but they're also like fairly, and it's not that no black people are right wing, but they're like white right wing, you know? Always an interesting combination. More common than you would think. Or maybe exactly as common as you would think. Fucking die! I haven't gotten a single hit on this bitch. Hold on. I want to see if I can win a fight with just 2 kicks. My forward 4 and my forward 4. Did you know in Tekken, each button 1, 2, 3, 4, or A, B, X, Y, or triangle? Whoa, my! Oh my God! What did I say to do? There we go. Like, there's a bunch of kicks, but I want to do like specifically these 2 kicks and just see what I can manage. Oh my God.
Round 2. Fight.
Oh no. Didn't mean to throw that attack. And it knocks him down like every time. It's a crazy attack. It really is. Fuck! Okay. I could totally do that if I wanted to. I'm gonna keep trying. Fuck it. Hold on. You kind of have to alternate. Like, you can throw out the same one twice sometimes, but it doesn't always work out. Okay, I'm sorry. We can't do that anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my God. I dropped the troublemaker act out the window once I discovered digital girls were my type, though. Aside from showing a white friend and a Mexican friend of mine a pic of Greenheart, I shut myself away. I will tell you, bear in mind, I can't remember. You told me how old you are. I can't remember how old it was. You don't have to tell me again. But I remember you were like somewhat young, like 19, 20. Bear in mind, and it depends. However far you are in the process, you'll know. But like, it also depends on your like neurological makeup. But I will say that for me, like, digital girls only. It's like something that I did as a response to like emotional fallout, and actually resulted in a lot more emotional fallout over time. But then I adjusted to it. So just bear in mind, and it depends on the person. Like, some people it doesn't bother them at all, but for me, I had like a very difficult adjustment period. Like, there's, you know, in your body wants another body. You know, and there's some exceptions, but for the most part, that is true. So just bear in mind that it can be challenging. But if you're doing it, you're probably doing it for a reason, right? Like in retrospect, like a part of me is like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. You should talk to girls. But then it's like, I'm not at the point yet where I can look back on my life and say that I wish I did that. Maybe I will later, but I'm not quite there. I'm not quite fully ready to say that. I don't even know if I don't know. I don't know what's up with me really. I'm 19, turning 20 this September. During my sophomore year, I was 15 to 16. That's when I shut myself away from everyone. Exactly the same year. That was 2014 and 2017 and 2016 for me. And that is exactly when I became let's just say self-sufficient. You know, not just sexually, but like in general, you know. I was always kind of a loner, but like especially after that period, that's when shit really gets rough. Like I'm still to this day dealing with like psychologically with shit like that happened back then 10 years ago, and I'm really not the best when it comes to like emotional processing and stuff, but I've figured out how to survive, and I can tell you that is a source of a lot of I don't know, like just remember that the shit that happens back then obviously is gonna have an effect on you, but it's always possible to like change or get better or not be defined by that. Or I don't know. It's hard to explain. And it's also hard because I'm saying that and I'm low-key so entirely defined by what happened back then. But I don't know. And also, I don't really change. So it's like, I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I guess my point is like if things happen that put you in a certain place psychologically, if you want to stay there, that's fine. Or if you want to explore that, that's fine. But just bear in mind that if shit is not working, you can always. It's not easy, but it is possible to reprogram yourself, just in general. Like even down to not even the psychological shit, but also like your daily habits. I mean, that's what I'm doing by streaming is trying to reprogram myself because I'd normally just be sitting on my ass, and it's like I'm kind of getting in touch with my past self, you know, 15, 16, you know, what I thought was the ideas of things that I wanted to do that I didn't do back then because I just was out of it from like 15 to 25 basically. And only now am I like, oh, like I'm kind of just getting in touch with like I don't know, who I am, what I want to do. I mean, the things that happen, especially like earlier in your life and during that time frame that we're talking about specifically, like they're gonna be a part of your story, but it's like, okay, what's the next chapter? Like, what do you do with it? That's what you have control over. And you have to ask yourself, what do you actually want? You know, like I don't think I want to be in a relationship at all with anyone ever. And there's part of me that thinks about it. I'm always gonna have like a doubt about that. But like obviously, I'm 25 now, and nobody's touched me. I haven't touched anyone. So, fuck, hold on. I hate it when they actually make me fight instead of talking. I've never really experienced love of that kind in general. I'm not just talking about sex. I'm talking about like everything like that, everything non-platonic. But people tell me to. People tell me to. I have arguments with people that I know about like, basically almost everyone I know tries to get me to get a girlfriend or get laid or do something. But I really think that even though I have trauma around that, I think even underneath that trauma, I'm just not really somebody who wants to be around other people, but like, or have like intimate relationships. I don't know though, and that's what I'm trying to figure out, but I don't want to figure it out by being with someone because I don't want to do that. So it's like, okay, if I'm not going to do that, what am I about? well, what am I gonna do? Because that's what most people do. So I got to figure out, you know, if I'm not most people, what do I do? If any of this is making any sense at all. And it's like, okay, let's say that my true self, my true destiny, or whatever, is genuinely that I don't ever want to be with anyone, and who knows if that's true or not. But okay, if it is, one thing you have to be careful about is you do not want to be in a situation where okay, let's say I was not, like I said, my true self. I'm just a solitary individual. I don't have sex. I don't want to, you know, love any of that. Let's just say Let's just say. Okay, we're not going to worry about whether that's true or not. We're just going to say that, for the sake of argument. Let's say that were true. But what happens is, okay, if you have one strange thing about you like that, that's unusual, uh, an eccentricity or anything. How do I put this? Fuck, this. What I'm trying to say is so difficult to explain. I feel like, um, when there's one thing about you that's different from, I just noticed that cat. When there's one thing about you that's different from other people, or that's weird, or that you consider weird, um, there is a tendency. I feel like I can't abstract this. I have to give you an example. Like, okay, I know I'm in my heart of hearts. I don't want to be with anyone. That's just not me. Okay, so like, let's say you jerk off, right? Obviously, you just like jerk off all the time, whatever. But it's like, okay, in my case, for example, that and porn addiction might not be the same thing. Like my true self that doesn't want to be with anybody, and I'm not telling you what to do. I'm talking about myself. Yes, there's some similarities, but I'm talking about myself when I say this. If it applies to you, that's fine. But just because I'm not going to be with anybody doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be a gooner. And it's like it that might me being a gooner might not necessarily be my true self. That might be something that's been pushed on me by this world. Um, or things that have happened. This makes no sense. But it's like let's say that it's bad, but you think that it comes with the territory, but it might not, if that makes sense. And then part of becoming like figuring out what's going on with you is kind of separating. Like, for example, oh fuck, I don't know. Okay, I used to be. This is so disjointed. I used to be depressed like badly for a long time, and I thought that that was integral. I thought that that was a part of me being a solitary person, but it turned out not to be. It turned out that I could actually be the way that I am without being suicidal or depressed or hating myself, at least not that much, and being down all the time. But I just thought before, I was like, oh, well, you know, I want to be alone, and that just comes with the territory, because I'm a human being, and human beings want to be with other human beings, and when they aren't, they get, like, mental issues. Okay, that was my conception of it. That turned out not to be the case. So that's another example. Make sure that you are analyzing the different parts of yourself and being like, okay, what's actually me and what might not actually be me? What might not be necessary, or what have I maybe assumed, you know, comes with the territory that doesn't. Like, maybe I don't have to be a gooner, maybe I don't have to have mental issues. Because that's my next thing, is that once I realized I don't have to have mental issues, I was like, maybe I don't have to be a fucking crazy gooner. And that's kind of turning out to also be the case. So, just be very, if we're going to worry about self actualization or finding your true self, or just figuring yourself out in the world, learning how to live your life. I remember there was a lyric in a Reliant K song, uh, "College Kid" or "College Days" or something, where he said like, "Do what would make God happy, do what you feel is right. Only but one thing matters: learn how to live your life." Sorry, just reminded me of that. But, anyways, point is, oh, don't do this shit to me, dude. There we go. When you're learning how to live your life, just kind of be careful to be like, okay, uh, analyzing yourself and being like, not accepting something that is bad or a drain on you or something you even feel unsure about, and not assuming that. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sense, but I'm also trying to play this fucking game. And I would love for this to be like a great short to clip, but it's probably not going to work like that. It's probably not going to make any sense. I might have to actually stop playing this and think in order to express myself here. But the best thing really that I can do, to abstract it, I have to really think. But the best thing I could do is to give you examples. Like, I didn't have to be depressed. I thought that I did, but I didn't have to be. I never considered that. I cannot stress enough to you how much I thought that I was going to always be depressed. And they say that about everything, but like, I really did. Especially when you're like younger, you like, oh, I'm always going to be like this. Imagine feeling that way about depression, you know? And you probably know. You probably have felt that way. I don't know if you've ever been depressed before. I can't remember if you've mentioned that to me, but if you have, you know what I'm talking about. And again, I don't know your life, and I don't know, you know, if somebody's depressed, I can't tell them really shit about it. And I remember I hated when people tried to tell me shit about it. Sometimes it would click, but a lot of times it wouldn't.
Round one. Fight.
I mean, it's crazy what's possible. The human brain, the way that it can adapt is like absolutely insane. It's what makes us human. It's what makes us effectively the, you know, as far as we're aware of, the defining creature of existence, really. And that might be hoity-toity to say, but like, I mean, can you give me another example? I mean, we are like the creature. So, and part of what makes us the creature is our mental resilience and adaptability. And when I say mental resilience, you might think, you know, like depression, suicide, stuff like that, you know, mental illness are examples of that not being the case, but all that stuff is very the system poisons us in very specific ways for things like that to happen. I don't know if I would say that it's on purpose, but you know, I'm just, there's a lot of different things that cause depression too. It's not even just mental. Sometimes it has to do with your gut biome, what you eat. There's been times where I don't know, man. Even that, you just have to. The first step to digging yourself out of a, in my opinion, digging yourself out of a mental hole, and it's extremely difficult. And who knows to what extent it's under your control? But I think it's. I mean, I can't speak to what level of control you have, but you have some control. We could debate how much, but you have some. And nobody else is going to do these things for you. So, shit. Old crutch. So the first step that I found to digging yourself out of a hole, or like a certain way of seeing yourself, and it's not just depression, it's like everything. That's one of the most important things, is to like analyze and be like, okay, what assumptions have I made? Because you have to make assumptions. I mean, that's just how, it's just a part of cognition. All logic has to start with an unprovable assumption if you kind of look into that stuff. You know, like how do we know we're not living in a dream? How do we know this? How do we know that? You have to sometimes when you travel far enough up a branch of logic, at some point an assumption has to be made in order for you to work from it. So you have to make assumptions, but sometimes the assumptions hurt you more than help. So if you find yourself stuck, you have to go back to your assumptions, and you might not even consciously realize some of them. And everything I'm talking to is like has nothing to do with any kind of like therapy or anything. Like all of this stuff I figured out myself, and I'm a wreck. But the fact that I'm still alive is something. So there was something in the Bible about like what that clothing should be like of one type of fabric and that you should never mix fabrics, which we've obviously gone to hell with as far as polyester is concerned. But it was something like if your garments have more than one fabric, um, that they have to be burned. Something. Ooh, nice. I'm actually gonna equip that right now. It was like it was some Charles Carroll live stream from like a while ago, like a clip of it that I saw that mentioned this, and it was like a metaphor for identifying like poisonous thoughts that are like not yours or not God or something like that. Ah, man, I wish I could remember what words he used. Somebody, if anybody sees this, they'll probably be able to figure out. I could find the clip I'm talking about. But it's like identifying contaminated thoughts is what he said. That it's a metaphor for identifying like contaminated thoughts and like purifying, like recognizing contaminated thoughts, I guess. And there was something else I read about like I'm sorry, this is fucking nonsense, but I swear I'm getting at something. Right? Like when I thought me being alone and being depressed are hand in hand. I mean, there is a connection. There was a connection between them, and there still is. But it wasn't necessary. That was like a contamination that had to be burned. I thought that they were the same fabric, but they weren't. I can be alone without wanting to kill myself. What was I gonna do? Okay, let's try here. You said check the chat sparks. I don't see any new messages. I see the one about 19 turning 20, and I talked on that one. So if you sent something, it must have gotten censored. Oh, I got the metallic hair. Nice. I might do that. But I'm trying to figure out. Try tapping on new messages. Oh shit, yeah. I fucking hate YouTube with this dumb top message shit. It sets that to default every time. I don't see shit. Let's see. It says, my old school crush had 20 cocks in her mouth. Digital girls, on the other hand, don't do that shit. Damn. Well, thanks to the aforementioned school crush. Sorry I wasn't seeing this. You gotta like remind me every stream. I gotta remind myself to fucking do that. You know what? I'm gonna get something where it has an overlay of the chat on the screen. That'll be on the list of things to do after the stream so that I can see the stuff and not have it fucked up. But well, thanks to the aforementioned school crush, it basically put me in a 2D is better than 3D Gooner position, and I embraced it. If YouTube censored the school crush message, Tapple messages, I see them now. So you're good now. Um, Damn, dude, I can't lie. It wasn't the exact same thing with me, but I did have. There's just a lot of similarities between you and me. There was a girl that I knew, and I remember because she was the last girl that I ever asked out, and I don't know how deep I want to get into it than this, but like it was just I had asked like several girls out, and then this was like the last girl. I didn't know at the time that it was going to be the last girl that I asked out, but it was. Um, I don't know. It was just like a girl that I really thought that I had a chance with. Like I had been through, and there was more than just like rejection that was getting to me. I realized that in retrospect. But I had been through a lot. I almost feel like we should just go blonde with this. That might be cool. Can I just click, by the way? Fuck, no, I can't. Um, it just seemed like I had been through a lot in the past, like a few years, like way back when I was like 15, 16. And then that happened, and that was like my last attempt, I guess. And then after that happened, I really started spiraling. Like that was the last time I asked a girl out, and I never did again. That's almost, let's see, 19, 18, 18, 17. We're like almost 10 years on that. Almost, not quite. But yeah, that was like about like almost 10 years ago. And I don't know, man. I have like a, and it's like partially I'm proud of myself for not doing like therapy or medication or any of that. I barely talk to anyone about anything. I have times where I like talk to like family members about stuff, but for the most part, I've just been on my own with this stuff. And there's like something fundamentally something with me. Like I feel like all the problems I've had have come from like the same source, but I don't know what that is exactly. I just feel like ever since I was born, there's just been something. And there's been like, as I grew up, I was probably, I had some negative sexual experiences a little too early. I had some negative things happen. Parents divorced. Everybody's parents get divorced. There's been like different things that happen that mess me up, but it's just like, I don't know. It's like, okay, it's stuff that happened, but also like, how did I react to it? And why did I react to it in the way that I did? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't even know how deep I want to get. But sorry, what'd you say? 20 of them is taking the nine sim term way to the extreme. Nine sim? But no, that's 20 is insane. Are we talking literally 20? Or is that an estimation or exaggeration? Or are we like quite literally 20? Like she had 20 boyfriends that you counted during high school? Because that is truly insane. Her friend told me she was dating 20 guys. The wording of that almost sounds like at the same time. Is that the case? I'm sure it's not, but it almost kind of sounded like that. That is like not the case, right? Surely. Surely. Damn, what is the Y button? had this figured out before, and now I've forgotten it. 4. Okay. That's the default hairstyle, jackass. Okay, I have to go here, select it, and then hit 4. There we go. It's a cool new look. Or if there's anything else I might change. When I asked her out, I also fumbled a bag, but that was because she asked me out of nowhere in lunch early in 2022, and I didn't know how to react back then. That must have made it even more painful. In the cafeteria in front of everybody. Wow. How do you feel? Like, do you feel like you might have missed a bullet though? Right? I mean, if she's you can't be, and I don't want to like slut shame. Actually, I kind of do. 20 people is insane. Double digits in high school is brutal. I think double digits at any point in time is pretty crazy, but in high school is insane. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. That's how do you even have that much time? I mean, okay, high school is 4 years, and I don't know when. Okay, let's just assume end of high school. So 4 years, that's 12 months each. Now, maybe you could only count the months you guys that school is actually in session, but I mean, just statistically speaking, this is insane. From a numerical perspective, I mean, a relationship I would think is like at least 3 to 6 months. Are we all? Is she like whoring around? I guess she must have been, because if we're talking 3 to 6 months per guy, 20 times. What's the math on that? I mean, 20 times, let's say 3 is 50. That's 50 months. That's crazy. But surely you need to look at that as like you dodged a bullet. Because, I mean, if you did get with her, I mean, that's the same thing that happened with me was that the girl that I wanted to be with turned out to be a fucking cheater. Now, I don't know if she had 20 bodies, but she was a cheater. And if I had been with her, if she had said yes to me, I, realistically could have been cheated on. I guess. She was the emo chick, and I found that shit hot. It's fair enough, since I discovered My Chemical Romance, Avenged Sevenfold, Stained, etc. during that time, and I was a simp. That's fair. I will say, before, it was so fascinating what happened. Before puberty, I was like, I loved hanging out with girls. I had like so many girls I was friends with. Like I was more almost all of my friends were girls. I was still friends with guys, but like 50% if not more was girls. And I didn't even think twice about it. It wasn't even a big deal to me. It just happened naturally. Um like I wasn't going out of my way to like, oh, I want to be friends with girls. It just happened. I just got along well with them. And then after puberty, it flipped. It completely flipped. It was like it was a little slow because some stuff had to happen first. I had like a psychological shift that happened besides just being sexually attracted to women. There's like other stuff that happened that led to this, but it was a total shift. And then I was full incel, and I had no female friends at all. From like middle school is when I had a lot of female friends, and then high school, the first 2 years is when that kind of started to fall apart, and then the second 2 years I did not talk to any women. I mean, I did, but like I wasn't friends with any of them. Uh, and I just drifted further and further away after that. Uh, oh, I want to get back into the game here. Should I switch glasses? Um, yeah, and it's just got. I mean, now I'm a little more comfortable talking to women, but I don't really have any female friends. Like before, I was like an incel MGTOW. Like I would go out of my way to not interact with women at all. Now, I'm not going out of my way, but I also don't really have any female friends. I mean, not only did I not know any back in Michigan where I grew up after this stuff happened, but then I moved out and I didn't even know any guys. I didn't know anybody. Um, Not to mention that I work in auto repair, uh, where obviously there's not that many women. Uh, and when there are women, like a lot of times they're working up front. Because you got to bear in mind that all the places I've been to, in the garage and the shop, there's one bathroom. Because back when these shops were built, there was no such thing as a woman working on a car, and even now it's not that common. But back then, there wasn't even a bathroom built for them. So if you're a woman working at this job and you don't want to go to the same bathroom the guys go to, you got to walk all the fucking way up front every time you want to take a piss or take a shit. Anyways, point being, as a result of working auto repair, my it's like I don't talk to any women at all. Like I don't have any female coworkers. I have like there's some service advisors that I talk to on occasion, but it's I don't have consistent contact with a woman still. And this has been years. And at first it was on purpose, but after that it's just like, I mean, I'm not going out of my way. I'm not dating. Um, and I work in a field where there's not a lot of women. So I'm very isolated. Very, very isolated. And sometimes I wonder if subconsciously that's why I chose to work on cars. I don't remember consciously having that thought. Only after I started was I was like, oh, now I think about it, I have a history of like, not really being around women, and this doesn't help with that. So it's kind of funny. But no, like it's just weird. Like I still have a mental block there. And because I'm like so oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just in this weird place where it's like I don't know, man. Like even the male friends that I have, which are really coworkers, some of them I would consider my friends, but the guys at work, I kind of don't fucking enjoy being around. Like okay, I do. They're gonna see this and be so upset. I like hanging out with them, but I just have a very solitary kind of tendency. I don't really. I mean, sometimes I wish. Partially, I don't wish because I probably go crazy. But sometimes I wish I went to work and nobody talked to me. Like I hang out, we talk about shit, but there's just that part of me that just doesn't want to talk to anyone. And then when it comes to women, it's like I have a whole mental block on top of that. And it's kind of faded away, but because I'm still a very solitary individual, I'm still, I don't know, I just haven't really had a woman in my life ever. And I still think about it. And I kind of want to, but I kind of don't want to. It's just, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess I don't want to. I mean, look at where I'm at. I mean, I'm 25 years old. If I wanted to do that shit, right, I would have done it by now. But I don't know, man. Just talking my head off. Anyways, let's see. Oh, I was mega incel during my sophomore to junior years. I mainly avoided white women because my old school crush was white. I was still friends with black girls since they hung with my circle in high school and they were relatively nice. Sophomore to senior one meant fuck. Yeah, I remember, and it wasn't necessarily like about race, but the last girls that I was talking, just coincidentally, they were black. Because those were the girls sitting next to me in class. I remember in my last 2 years of high school, I took some coding classes, and there was these. I had a class with a white dude, and then there's these two black girls. Uh, and we just talk and hang out. And I didn't do badly with them. I mean, when I talk to women, it doesn't go bad. Like, I mean, sometimes it's a little awkward, but same with conversations with men. It's not really. I feel comfortable when I talk to women now. I did not feel comfortable before earlier. Now I do. I've even had, some female coworkers that I would really shoot the shit with and enjoy talking to, but I just still have this mental block where I just don't want to go past that because I don't want to get hurt. Even if I did get in a relationship, you could still get hurt. And I don't know. I don't want to go past that. And yeah, but like those last 2 years of high school, even though I was very incel, very MGTOW, I knew a few girls that I talked to, but I didn't consider them friends. Now I would. But back then, because I was so standoffish, I treated them with respect, and we hung out and we talked. We were like cool, but I held them at arm's length mentally. I was like, you know what I mean? I had that kind of mindset of like, you're a woman, you know, that like MGTOW incel mindset of like, I don't really low key don't fuck with you, like, but the way I was not like super sexist. It was quiet sexist. So like if you were a woman, I wouldn't be mean to you. If you were trying to talk to me, I wouldn't like be weird about it. I wouldn't kind of give you the cold shoulder. I would talk to you. Uh, and a lot of times, really, I think the vast majority of women in my life, unless they were kind of in my friend group and knew my friends that I talked to about stuff, or just had a very keen eye. But I think 99% of the women I've talked to in my life had no idea that I was like so hateful of women because it was quiet. I was respectful and polite when I talked to women. I was friendly. But in my head, I was sexist, but I wouldn't treat them with that. I always had this thing where I said, if you're openly sexist, in a way, it's kind of like you hate women less. Like, if you really, really, really hate women, and you, like, do not fuck with them at all, you aren't gonna, if you're being sexist toward them, there's a sense in which you're opening up to them. You're kind of like giving them a part of yourself. You're letting them know this kind of a personal thing, a viewpoint, a mindset that you have. And there's a sense in which you're kind of establishing a relationship. It's not a positive relationship, it's a negative, but you have a closer relationship in a sense because you've opened up about something. You've made it clear that you're fucking sexist and you hate women. I kind of feel like the other kind of sexism where you don't treat women any differently. Like the type of sexism where you talk to a woman, she has no idea that you feel that way about women or that you have negative attitudes towards women. Um, or any of that, any kind of hatred, that she has no idea. There's a sense in which that's like more cold. Like I feel like the people who are the most sexist, we would have no idea because that's how I was. I hated women so much. I had such negative attitudes towards women, but they would have no idea. Like I said, unless they had advanced knowledge, just in a normal conversation, it wouldn't. I really don't think it would occur to them because I just didn't treat them any differently because I was so hateful of women. I didn't even want to open up in that way, even in a negative way, if that makes any sense. Uh, Let me read what you're saying. Yeah, I remember back then, I hated women, but I especially hated white women. And I'm not sure why that is exactly, but I did kind of notice that. I guess because when I think of like negative experiences that I had, a lot of times it was a white girl, but that's because I lived in a place where it was like not mostly white people. It's pretty diverse, but it was still like a smooth like 60, like over 50% white people. Um, like maybe 60 or so, maybe more than that. But I had like I don't know. I don't know why. But I remember that was more, but I was also like low key more attracted to them, and I think that was correlated. Um, I've kind of broadened my horizons now, but back then I really only liked white women, uh, for the most part, and I think that had something to do with it. I think it was like hating what I can't have, kind of a thing. Let's bear in mind, in case any of this gets clipped, everything we're talking about today for both of us, at least for me, everything we're talking about today was years ago. Okay, I don't hate women anymore. I'm still not like all the way there. I don't have, I'm not like the biggest fan of women. Okay, but I don't hate them anymore. I have like a mental block around being anything more than friends with a woman. Like even if I could, I don't do it. But aside from that, I can kick it with women now. It's just that the problem is that naturally, man, woman, naturally things kind of progress that way. And when they do progress in that direction, because I've had times where women were interested in me now, but I shut it down, and they notice that, and they kind of don't fuck with it low key. Like that's everything seems normal, I think, for a woman talking to me, except for the part where it doesn't happen all that time. I'm not a fucking ladies man. I'm not that hot. But there's been like over the past 5 years, maybe 3 or 4 women have kind of been like, "Hey, Drew," and I just don't. I just distance myself. I distance myself immediately when I notice that. And sometimes they don't take that very well because, let's be honest, women, especially women that look pretty good, they're not used to getting no. They're not used to getting a no. Like men, even men that they do well with women, they got rejected, they understand it. And women get rejected too, but like there's low key, if you're a good looking woman, you might have genuinely never had a man say no. So it can be extremely jarring when that happens. Let me read what you're saying. That and I tried asking out a white girl before the homecoming dance freshman year, but she was taken by this black kid who was a mega pimp yet had a Napoleon ass stature. Napoleon ass stature is crazy. That's fucking funny. That's pretty funny. I mean, that sucks. That sucks that happened, but also that's really funny that he was built like Napoleon. That if honestly that happened to me, I would have been sick about it. That almost makes it worse because it's like you can point at him and laugh, be like, "Ha ha, short," but also like, "Damn, you kind of swooped in there, took the hoe I was plotting on." That's fucking. That kind of makes it worse in a way that you're short. I don't know how to feel about that. It's kind of like mixed feelings. Again, mixed signals off of that. Sorry about that, but also that's funny. Uh, yeah, and to be honest, I still feel hate and spite towards 3D women for all the shit. I feel like you got to say real women because you say 3D, like Lily is a free 3D woman here. This girl right here, you don't have anything against her, right? Lily's cool. I feel like you got to say real, but I know what you're saying based off of context. Anyways, I still feel hate and spite towards 3D women for all the shit my school crush did to me, and 2D girls help me through that painful time in my life in late 2022, early 2023. Same here. Like when I was 19 to 20, I was like, those were probably like my peak incel MGTOW days. Call me morbid, but I've had fantasies about my harem of video game and anime crushes doing NTR with me in front of my school crush on the back of the bus in front of everyone. She runs off humiliated. For a hot minute there, I thought you were talking about you getting NTR'd, and I was like, that's crazy. Batman couldn't get that out of me. But you're saying that you and your crushes are NTRing her. That's great. That's therapy. Honestly, that's not even morbid. That's healing. That's self-care. That is morbid though. That's fucked up, but it's like good. I think that's good. I think that's got to be good for you. Yeah, I don't really want to change this whole outfit. If I want to change outfits, I'll get like something else. Uh, make a new slot. I should probably use this. That's dope. Maybe this should have been its own fit right here instead of me changing. Whatever. Hey, there we go. Yeah, in the view of normies, I'm pretty psychotic. Dude, even by my standards, that's pretty psychotic. That's funny though. Hey, whatever gets you through it. That's the thing too. Like when once you get to like your mid 20s, even your early 20s can be rough. My early 20s were extremely rough. Once you get to your mid 20s, that's when you can like analyze. Look back on your life so far and kind of analyze. And it's good to do that as early as you can. But mid 20s is where you pretty much do that automatically if you haven't already. And as much as I try to give advice to younger people, at the same time, you kind of just got to do what you got to do to get through it. Because being like less than 20, 25 years old in this world is fucking treacherous as hell. And yeah, I can give advice, but at the end of the day, you know your situation and you got to get through it. So we're going to put this on, by the way. I wish I could make the other hairstyles metallic, but whatever. Metallic rainbow. Because at 20, like 25, no, I'm happy I'm 25. You have, I'm about to be 26, kind of scary. Anyways, you have like the frontal lobe to, what time is it? You have the frontal lobe to look back on things and analyze and figure out, you know, what's up, but also you're still relatively young and you can make changes. Not that you can't make changes later in life, but I do think it gets harder to make changes later in life. And 20, your mid 20s are that age where you've been around town and you can kind of start to formulate a plan if you haven't already. And ideally, you do that as soon as you hit 20. But you know, I'm not ideal, so like at all. I'm really not ideal at all. But definitely by 25, you want to start doing that. And I'm still, you know, picking up the pieces. That's what 25 is about, picking up the pieces. If you're like me and you've been a total wreck, once you hit 25, oh my god. Get fucked. Once you hit 25, you can get situated. I've been wanting to unlock this metallic rainbow hair ever since I first saw it, and I just unlocked it in Treasure Battle earlier today, and I was so hype about it. There's a you fight your own character, and she like looks super unique, and you unlock certain things that she has each time you fight her. And this time I finally unlocked the hair, and I was so happy about it. And I get what you're saying about 3D women. I mainly said 3D women for the sake of haha funny, 3D better than 2D meme. Yeah. It's all context, you know, surely. I know you didn't mean to disrespect Lily. That's not what you're about. Or any of these nice 3D women that we have that save our lives. Because I genuinely would probably, if it weren't for waifus, from the outside it looks bad, but I assure you things, and you know, things would be so much worse if you didn't have that kind of influence in your life, you know? Then it's like you have this ugly life and these beautiful waifus, and if you don't have the beautiful waifus, then you just have this ugly life. So, you know, a lot of people don't get it, and they don't have to get it. Oh, shit! But that's the way it is. Yeah, I remember back in the day I would have, you know, my waifu as the wallpaper on my phone and just kind of helped me get through to the next day when I was fucking wanting to kill myself every second of every day. And no, if you get rid of the fucking anime girls and shit, it doesn't make you want to kill yourself less. Okay? It only does if you replace them with real women. And even then, you might still fucking blow your shit off. I remember, dude, that's one of the things that made me realize, oh fuck, that I could make it work. You know, I was like, oh, I'm lonely, I'm depressed, suicidal, it is what it is, comes with the territory. But then I kind of, I've never seen her do that before, it's funny. Then I looked around and I realized there's so many guys that have girlfriends that are killing themselves or are depressed anyways. And it's not like there's no connection, it doesn't matter, but it's just worth noting. Like, oh, you know, like, this dude is not really much happier than me. You know, a fulfilling relationship is a fulfilling relationship, alright? I'm not going to downplay that, but a lot of times it's not a fucking fulfilling relationship. A lot of times, you know, I've seen some pretty rough things happen to people. Like I said, the guy that took my crush, and she cheated on him. You know, that's crazy. Yeah, I missed a bullet there. And now, I mean, after that, dude, me and him were best friends. It was weird. It was like, you would think I would have hated him, but it didn't really bother me. even before I found out that she cheated on him, I don't remember just consciously getting upset about it or thinking about it that much. Maybe I did and I just don't remember, but I feel like I would. I think my brain probably just kind of blocked that out just as a survival tactic, because I'm surprised that didn't really deeply fuck with me. I can't, it's funny that I can't remember thinking about that at all. Anyways, that was just like kind of a back. There's certain things that I look back in retrospect and realize that it was working on me. Like something happened and it worked on me and I didn't even realize it. That might have been one of them that I didn't even recognize. But anyways, that's one of the things that made me realize, not just him, but just in general. It's like, oh, it's not that simple. Just because I don't have a girlfriend doesn't mean I need to, suck on a shotgun. There's a little more to human happiness and fulfillment than that. But it can be hard to see that when you're in the thick of it. And that's one other piece of advice I'll give to anybody who's dealing with, like, serious, like, mental issues. I talked earlier about I can't speak to the extent of how much control you have. I just know that you have some level of control. Because you have to. Because you're going to die if you don't. And I don't want to freak anybody out. But my point is, I think what happens is you don't always have control. And you get used to not having control because of that. Because if you're mentally struggling, a lot of times you don't have control. But you need to... One of the other ways you get out of the hole is by being ever vigilant of... Like, my theory is you have free will and you can make choices to get better, but not all the time. There's certain points where your brain and your soul, or whatever, is just too far gone. And that can be a window for a certain amount of time. But I think a lot of the time, like, I can't speak to the exact time frame, but you need to keep an eye out. God damn. Keep a radar active of when do you have free will, because sometimes you do. And if you can spot those times where you genuinely can make choices to better your situation and understand that maybe you're not going to be able to do that all the time, but that you need to be vigilant and notice when you can, and it's so hard to explain. But when you're in the thick of depression, like I was depressed and I would have like an awful time, but every now and then I feel better. Or every now and then I just have like a sense of agency. This was the other guy I was thinking about learning, by the way. I don't know. I think I'm overcomplicating it. My point is, you got to look out for those windows of opportunity. And I don't know what the signal is. I don't know how you know, but there's like... I don't know. Hopefully what I've said makes enough sense, because I feel like adding more words isn't going to help. I'm still what you would call an incel, but not Chris Chan levels of incel. Okay, I'm glad that we're not on his level. I wouldn't openly harm someone unless it's self-defense. I hope it stays that way. I'm a big proponent of self-defense. Okay. Offense? Maybe not. But I get what you mean. I mean, back in the day, dude, I was like the guy that... And it was not like a joke. Sometimes people say this as a joke, but people are like, I think actually dead-ass serious when they said, back in those days in high school, that if they heard gunshots, they would think that it was me. And they didn't even say that they would think, they said that they would know. They would know, like, oh, that's Drew. Drew finally cracked. And I can see why, and, I won't lie to you. I had times where the thought of going on a good little rampage, a good little killing spree, appealed to me, but I was never that kind of guy. I was never that kind of guy. I would never do that. I would never do that. I would never do that today. But I was definitely in that sort of strata. Social strata, if you want to put it that way. That social class. I was the type of person that would do that. So much so that there was actually a time when... Hold on. Fuck. Yo. No fucking way, that's insane. Anyways, there was a time once where someone brought a gun to school, and it was actually my day off, believe it or not. And actually, hold on, pause for this because it's kind of funny. So it was my day off. I was like out sick or something. I don't know. And someone brought a gun to school, and the school was on lockdown, and people were blowing up my phone about it, and they thought that it was me. And it was funny because it turned out in the end, the school was shut down, the police came out and everything. It turned out it was a guy with a paintball gun or like an airsoft gun or something like that. It wasn't a real gun. But people genuinely thought that it was me, and it was it was funny. I personally found it funny. Everybody that was there, some of them didn't find it funny, and I'm glad nobody got hurt. Nobody got hurt, and the kid didn't get killed, which is frankly miraculous. I almost would have liked to hear that he got switched down by the old law enforcement officers, because that would make me feel safer. But that's not what happened. I suppose they had a sniper, maybe, identify that it wasn't a real weapon. But no, that's the thing. And I honestly, I really think it's as simple as this. Well, okay, there's probably more to it, but sex and violence are a couple of very powerful forces in this world. What did it say in the Family Guy intro, right? It seems today that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV, right? Violence and sex are correlated to death and life. They're very powerful forces. They're arguably the two most powerful forces in the world. Love and hate, death and life, violence and sex. So I kind of think part of what's going on is when you're not doing well sexually, if you can't fuck, what else is there, right? If you can't fuck, you can't love. I mean, there's only one other side of the coin. And I think that's a way of looking at, some of these shootings where we have, your Eric Rogers, your people of that, of that caliber. That's my theory. And I say that as a person who is of that archetype. I think I have authority to kind of profile and analyze that kind of thing. And I'll tell you, I think that's really what it comes down to. Not every guy that can't get laid is gonna, up the pole, but there's certainly a correlation. My biggest advice to anybody who is getting in that kind of, if you kind of feel a school shooting coming on inside of you, if you feel like it's kind of bubbling to the surface, might happen. My advice, if you don't want it to happen, oh God, is smoke weed. I think Dave Chappelle said this. If you just feel like you're gonna maybe come to school with a gun, and there's still a party that doesn't want to do it, hey, smoke up, light up, go find the stoner kids, and ask them, see if you can take a hit, let them know that if you don't take a hit, you're gonna blow their heads off, and then you'll definitely get some bud, and maybe it'll help you kind of level out. I'm not a big weed smoker. I actually am kind of proud of myself for not smoking weed. Me, myself, personally, I'm an alcohol enjoyer, but and I'm proud of myself for that. I feel like it makes me different from everyone. Everybody smokes weed, Come over here. Anyways, I'm a big drinker. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm a fan. I'm an alcohol appreciator. Hold on one second. I gotta scratch my eye. And that works too. Although maybe not as well as weed for quelling that kind of shit, but it could work. It's just that you could smoke weed all the time if you're like a bona fide school shooter wannabe, or what's the word, candidate, and you want to kind of mellow out. That's a way to do it. The problem with alcohol is you can't drink alcohol all the time, and it'll give you cancer, and it'll really fuck up your life. But weed, you can pretty much smoke all the time. maybe you're not going to fully realize your full potential. Maybe you're going to be a little annoying to talk to in the worst case scenario, right? But it's worse. It's better than you know, killing people. No way, bro. Anyways, I think we're gonna wrap it up in the treasure battle. We're gonna play against a real person once or twice, maybe, and then we're gonna switch to drawing because I said I would do that, didn't I? Now it's 10:30. Let me read you. Like I had people push me, but I push back. That's fair. You gotta push back. Otherwise, if you that's the problem is that that's the other thing that happens too is people fuck with you and you don't. A lot of times, just like giving it back to them, even without literally fighting them or getting that serious, just like it depends. Just kind of give them a little bit of something. Give them a taste of their own medicine. Talk some shit. Uh, is all it takes. A lot of times there was times in school where I'd be intimidated by somebody a little bit and they'd be like giving me shit and I would just like say shut the fuck up. It's like it could be that simple, just like shut the fuck up or eat my ass or just disrespect them instead of like walking away or saying nothing. And worst comes to worst, you'll maybe lose a tooth. Uh but probably not. A lot of the time they're looking for you to do that and when you do that, when you give them shit back, they like it and you're best friends after that. And you realize I can actually talk shit back to this person. We can have fun, and those are the greatest people. You find one of them, it's great. If somebody gets violent or gets serious over it, then okay, fuck it, whatever. If you got to throw down, you got to throw down. But 9 times out of 10, people that talk shit want somebody to talk shit back, and that's what they want, and that's all they need. And it can be a what's the word? Uh, Symbiotic relationship. Anyways, I got suspended for saying I want to blow up the school when I was 12. Same. I said I was going to put a bomb in my teacher's car. I also jumped at her. I actually got sent to like a different school because of that. I actually went to 2 different schools for every level of education. I was a bit of a problem child. Anyways, my gym coach overheard and snitched on me because he thought it was a bomb threat. Wow. And then I pushed my. I just find it funny in retrospect. Like these parents, or sorry, these adults, teachers and whatever, the staff at school that think a kid is dead ass gonna bring a bomb. I mean, I'm sure it could happen, but like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. I'm just saying that because the same thing happened to me on a couple of occasions. A teacher took a like once we get to like basically puberty and later. Okay, I understand. Once we get into like teenage, like literally 13, 14, sure. If you're fucking 12, 11, 10, you can't. You're not gonna bring a bomb to school. You're not gonna. Yeah, I'm not saying it's never happened. I'm just saying you're kind of a. It's kind of bogus to really be out there moving like it is gonna happen. Anyways, uh, and then I pushed my teacher in 8th grade when I was 14 and got suspended. Combined, and I read that in the corner of my eye. I thought you said Columbine, and I was very scared. Before I read the chat. Combine that and a misunderstood attempt at boys being boys and pushing a fellow classmate, I got grounded until the last day. Wow. That's the other thing too. They don't let kids fight in school. It was kind of happening back in the day when I was in school, but I feel like nowadays they really do not let kids fight. And it's like, bro, you have to fight. Look at animals. What do animals do? They fucking fight when they're kids. When animals are growing up, it's play fighting, but like still. Just you gotta swing. I feel like you gotta swing on somebody at least once in life. It's crazy not to. My tip: if you've never gotten a chance to throw down in school, then when you get out of school or while you're in school, go like do boxing or sparring or something. It happened at lunch outside. This teacher that also would reduce your chance of shooting up school if you get kind of burn off that energy, on a punching bag or on a punching person. Anyways, it happened at lunch outside. This teacher touched my ear. And by the way, if you're too scared to actually get in a real fight, that's another reason to go to the gym and throw hands and spar. Because that way you can kind of develop yourself mentally and physically without having to actually, like, be in a serious fight. Anyways, It happened at lunch outside. This teacher touched my ear as a magic trick. I hated being touched, so I pushed him and tipped him over the table. You can't. That's crazy too. Teacher's fucking touching a kid and he gets pushed and he's surprised. Come on now, tipped him over the table. Where's the center of gravity at? That's not your fault. That's not. He's got no. Okay, he's got no fucking sense. First of all, and he's got no CG. Come on. All right. Dude, I feel like I really streamed too late here. I don't know how much we're really going to be drawing, but I'll give it a shot. I can at least get calibrated because I'm going to be drawing digitally, and I have not done that in a long time. Or maybe I could do the drawing stream tomorrow, but I want to at least try because I got to get my hand-eye coordination and shit figured out. Like that one, I might do that right. So another thing I was learning is I can stand with my back to the enemy with this stance that I have here. This is like something that just this character has. And then there's attacks I can do out of it that I want to learn. Check that out. That's crazy. But like I'm thinking like, okay, if I'm far away from somebody and they're about to rush at me, boom! I want to do that. That's dope. And if you do it like this, you can actually stay like in that stay looking behind. And it's like, okay, how many attacks are there? I can't look here. Then I could learn. And could I do a whole fight or significant portions of a fight not even facing the person that I'm attacking? I'd love to do that. Maybe the teacher was a pedo. I don't know, and I'd rather not know. I have not seen him since. And hey, good for you, because, you know, if you don't push back, that's like, I feel like that's how pedos kind of work, is like they'll kind of try something small. That has to be how they, I mean, sure, you probably have some that just like get straight to it, but I feel like a lot of pedos would like start with like maybe like touching your ear or just like, you know, rubbing your head. And it's like, okay, whatever. That doesn't necessarily mean they're pedo, but then they kind of slowly ramp it up from there. Like they find a kid that doesn't protest it, you know? Like a kid that doesn't push back or not fuck with it. And then go a little bit further and see if they push back. And just progress from there. It's kind of fucking awful to think about, but I mean, shit. That's probably the fucking meta. I don't even want to say meta, that sounds terrible. But it probably is. It definitely is. Not that I would know. Dude, the real players be easier than the AI half the time at this point, because I've progressed so far in Treasure Battle. Look at that, I want to fight without my rage. Yeah, if I'm winning, I'm going to probably play all night. If I lose, I'm going to stop immediately. That's the strat. Alright, hopefully we can salvage this. Fuck! Oh man, I almost did. Alright, check this out. New move. Oh shit. It's gotta kind of It's really good, but you gotta land it. Oh, that's a really good one. Good luck ever touching me again. Holy fuck. You know, it's funny what moves are like extremely effective. Oh my god. Hup. There we go. And then if I combo it right, I can do that to him, but it's hard. Got him. Man, I gotta play against real people more often. I'm always like, oh, it's gonna be super hard. No, it's not. I've played so much Treasure Battle that I'm like way past my rank in online battle, in ranked matches, compared to Treasure Battle. Uh, oh yeah, my gym coach freshman year stared at ninth grade girls wearing their short shorts. And you know that's one of my more crackpot conspiracy theories is like, well, maybe I don't have to put it that way. I just I've always had a grudge against school for a lot of reasons, and you know, I didn't do that well at school, and that's probably the main reason. But also, especially when it comes to like really young kids, I just don't like how the system separates children from their parents to such an unnecessary extent. I feel like it's like, does your kid really have? First of all, you're at work. Second of all, your kid's at school. Third of all, 8 hours. Your kid's at school like for damn near as long as you're at work, basically the whole day. If I remember, it's like 7 to 3. That's insane. You don't need to be at school for 7 to 3 every day, bro. You're spending more time around these fucking teachers, half of which are weirdos, than you do around your parents and your family. Like, it's just messed up. It's traumatic. Even if nothing bad happens, any other species on Earth, you take the fucking babies away from the parents, except for the ones where the babies are more self-sufficient. But like, you take the babies away from the parents, and it's a fucking problem, and it's traumatizing for them. Human babies need their parents more than fucking any other animal. They are so helpless for so much longer than any other animal. And here our society is, and our system and our culture is such that it separates the children from the parents and from the family to such an insane fucking degree. Unnecessarily. Like, there's nothing fucking happening in school, especially at that age, that is more important than fucking being with your fucking family. Nothing. And instead, you're fucking away from your family, and you have to get up at 7 a.m. You don't even see your fucking parents, and that's if they're home all the fucking time, which they're not. It's crazy to me. Like, half of that shit, it should be fucking homeschool with your mother. I'm getting riled up and I'm not going to be able to pay attention to this fucking fight. I was midway through talking about something. No, I'm going to fight better because I'm angry. Oh, God. Oh, look at how it sends him. Oh, shit. He got me. Okay. It's just unnecessary. I just really don't feel like... I feel like we could find some way of structuring things to where parents are not separate from their kids all the fucking time. At least have the mother there more. Damn, dude. Woo! I got him. Oh no. Yes! The timing on that is so important. Damn, son. Oh, it's over with. Oh my god. Somebody paid attention to their fucking move list. I gotta keep this fucking maniac away from me. Stay away, buddy. Stay away. There we go.
Final round.
Yeah, I low-key have to rush him because he's gonna start just laying into me. He has so many combos of different like high, middle, low that I cannot just. It's over with, bro. That was a good fight.
You lose.
All right. But yeah, it's just one of the things where it's like, and okay, on top of everything that I said, also you have school at a very young age, and it's like, bro, anybody can fucking anybody anywhere in the country can go to any school in the country. They don't have to be like a known member of the community. Anybody can go anywhere and go fucking teach kids at school, which is just crazy to me. Like, I just, and it's like, okay, I don't know. Like somebody, let's say somebody grows up in one town and they're kind of known as a creep, maybe they did some stuff. There's just like rumors going around, and they probably wouldn't let him work as a teacher there. But he can go somewhere way the fuck at, like somewhere else in the country where people don't know him and be a teacher. And it's just like, I kind of feel like that inherently, that system, it's like all these young kids away from their parents, away from their family, and then any fucking adult can come and teach. And sure, if you have a record, then you have a record, and you can't. But in order to have a record, you got to have a record. You got to have done something, and that's how you get to do something. Like what if you could only be a teacher where you were like where you grew up, so people are gonna fucking know about you, right? That seems fair to me. Like I don't know if being a teacher needs to be the fucking same as all these other jobs. Like you sure if you're gonna work on an oil rig, okay, you can do that wherever you want. But if you're gonna be a teacher, maybe that is only allowed to happen kind of in your community. And could that cause some issues? Sure. But I think that they would be better issues, whatever it happens, than the issue of. I mean, I think I explained myself pretty well. It's like you can, you basically have access to kids, is what it is. And there's no failsafe against that until you've already done something. I just feel like maybe if you could only be a teacher where people fucking know you and where you grew up, that could help. Because people know you're a fucking freak, right? But let me read what you're saying. Your anger rant just hit home for me. I damn near teared up. My family was pretty stable until 2018, not going to go into reasons, and I didn't think about it at all, especially with predator teachers. Yeah. And it just seems bizarre to me because I mean, the first thing you could think is like, oh, well, we live in a capitalist country, capitalist culture, uh, and that's just how capitalism works. There's this big school system, and you go to school and you get qualified for this or that job, and it's like, okay, sure, like, yeah, it's like part of the system, but like, I think about it, and it's like, Surely, if you were to change the system so that kids are with their families more and people are like less atomized like that and separated and isolated like that, in a lot of ways, not just that, then people would form stronger bonds and you would have a lot less mental health issues because you're not effectively abusing children. Like I said, even if they don't get, raped or assaulted at school, just the act of separating them from their parents, separating from their family is inherently traumatic at a young age for basically every species. Like we know this, and especially for human beings, there is no species on Earth that I can think of that has more vulnerability psychologically and physically at a young age. Like other animals, they're like ready to go, ready to hunt within like weeks, months, right? And sure, they have shorter lifespans, but yeah, still, you get my point. And it's just that you would think that if you were to allow human beings to kind of exist a little bit more like they're supposed to and not destroy them to such an extent, that it would actually be more economically productive because it fucking would be. Because people would be having more kids because kids are actually getting raised and people don't have awful childhoods that make them not want to have kids. So you have more people, they are going to work harder. Like I just don't see how even from the mindset of like profit, I don't see how it makes sense. I don't think I think it's less profitable. And it's this is the kind of thing that gets me like thinking about stuff because like I'll go ahead and go in here so we at least have like something to look at besides the globe. Um, this is what gets me thinking about stuff because it's like okay, and I'll tell you right now, I have a very just the way that I am a very conspiratorial mindset, conspiratorial way of thinking. The thought of not detecting a threat scares me more, and dealing with it scares me more than uh potentially. Well, how should I put this? The thought of not detecting a threat scares me more than the thought of like wrongfully persecuting something that you think is a threat, just in general. And that's what causes you to have more conspiratorial mindset because you're less afraid. I mean, I still don't want that to happen, but it's like your cognitive bias, your psychological bias is such that you're more afraid of falling prey than you are of letting a predator run free, so to speak. And I'm speaking in terms of, nature and not literal, like, sexual stuff, but also in that sense. But like, my point is, it's not that I want anything bad to happen to innocent people. I'm just saying that there's like, in everybody's mind, there's a cognitive equation with all kinds of things that produce all kinds of mindsets. And one of the cognitive equations is like the balance of are you more afraid of hurting an innocent or letting guilty go free in general. I'm speaking abstractly. Obviously, we can talk about this very specific subject, but that also applies to a lot of different things. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. And what gives rise to a conspiratorial mindset generally is being more afraid of letting an guilty run free than hurting an innocent. So, or letting the guilty get free than hurting the innocent. And there is, the thing of like innocent before proven guilty. Whatever. We could talk about this at length. Um, but why am I not on my metallic rainbow here? Anyways, this is why I get conspiratorial about it. It's like, why is it like I just and sure maybe I have to bear in mind like the society we have now. I mean, humanity's been around for a long fucking time. Okay, things develop slowly. Not everything has to be on purpose. Okay, but some things are on purpose. And sometimes when things don't work and when systems are fucked up and people are getting hurt, sometimes it's because it's a mistake and sometimes it isn't. Sometimes things are working exactly as intended. And I have to bear in mind that my cognitive bias is to think in terms of conspiracy and think that everything is done either by man or by God or by Satan, and that there's no such thing as an accident. I try not to go too far with that mindset, but it can be good to think in that way because it causes you to see things you might not see otherwise. You can get all tinfoil hat about it, but other people kind of overcompensate and they get like stupid, and it's like there's like obviously evil things and they just don't register it and don't understand, or obviously intentional things. Anyways, I say all that to say, if it were purely about economic production, wouldn't it make more sense for people to be less abused? People would make more money if parents were not separated from their kids and kids not separated from their parents to the extent that they are in this system. And I understand things are slow moving and maybe school was created back then and maybe things are going to get better and we'll fix things. And maybe it's not on purpose. But all I'm saying is if it is on purpose, it kind of implies that the suffering caused by that is actually worth more than the economic profit. A lot of times people always think like, oh, it's all about the money. Oh, they just want to make money. Oh, the rich and powerful. Oh, the 1%. Oh, the world, people in charge just want to make money. All they care about is money. It's like, okay, yeah, that's probably true to a certain extent. All right. But I feel like those people are kind of missing the point a little bit because if all we gave a fuck about was money, I feel like things would be ran differently. I feel like things would actually probably be better. You got to bear in mind that the most powerful people in the world do not give a fuck about money. They make the money. They print the money. They pull the strings on the people that print the money. You know, like they don't give a fuck about money. You know, I'm of kind of a mind that like you get to like the top 1%, the really rich people, the rich and powerful. Yeah, they care about money. You know, but the people above them, I don't think that they care about money. I think they care about, again, maybe I'm just being a fucking nut job here. Maybe I'm just crazy. I think there's some truth to it. I mean, elites get corrupt, right? Does weird things to the mind. But I feel like the people at the top, the people that are really running things, I think they care about suffering. That's what I think. And maybe it's not like that. Maybe nobody's really in control. That's also possible. But I'm just bear with me here. Let me just talk. I kind of think they don't care about money. I think it's about suffering. When I look at things, that makes more sense. Fuck the money. The top 1% care about money. The top 0.1% do not give a fuck about money. The people that really pulling the strings don't give a fuck about money. Suffering is their money. The It's like harnessing like spiritual energy. I don't know. Dark energy. I don't know. Maybe they're like Satanists. I don't know. Don't ask me. All I'm saying is that the system almost seems designed to create misery. And it could be an accident. Okay. And it could be due for correction in time. You got to bear in mind there's been a lot of changes very recently. The internet didn't even barely exist when I was born. But by the time I was walking and talking and hanging out, it was in every home. Okay. The rate of change is starting to kind of slow down. New technology is starting to not be all that new or all that innovative. It's kind of starting to even out. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we're going to start to realize that technology isn't everything. We need to start addressing some of these issues that are more human. But, because that's the real limit now, that's the real ceiling. I was born a year before YouTube. Exactly. I was born in 2001. I can't remember when YouTube was started. But, by the time I remember, by the time my earliest memories, it was ubiquitous. Ubiquitous, the internet and everything. YouTube. But anyways, I look at the system the way it is now, and I just don't. I see a system that's literally optimized to like torture people as much as possible, without torturing them enough to cause a collapse. That's what I see. When I look around, that's what I see. I see it like it's almost been specifically, purposefully engineered to torture people and to create dark energy and to hurt people spiritually, mentally, psychologically, but without going so far as to tip the balance and cause a reset to happen. That's the impression that I get. I don't know for sure if that's the case. I could be fucking crazy. like I said, we're just talking. I just want you to bear with me while I kind of talk about that. But like, it's just a thought that I have sometimes. When I look around, that's what I see. When I look at my life, that's what I see. Like the problem nowadays, okay, if you have any amount of money to get beyond like the basics, like especially if you're like middle class or upper class, especially when you're growing up, the hard part is not being able to do something or being able to do what you want. The hard part is wanting something, right? It's like it's all moves to the mind. Once you get rid of the material concerns, it's all about the mind. And once it comes down to the mind, weird things start happening. It's like it just seems like if we just had a little bit more appreciation for the human element in the way things are designed and engineered in our culture, that we would be it would be like unrecognizable the level of civilization we would be at. Like, but there's just these, like I said, just these the different things like the atomization. Like, why break the bonds between people? Even economically, I just don't think it makes sense. Like, yeah, you can move this person there, move that person there. Like, sure, maybe that's good in like the short term, but I just think economically overall, it's poison. You're poisoning people, and it's not a profit. It could only be a profit for the people that want to cause suffering and chaos and hurt for whatever reason. YouTube started in April 2005, so I was born like 4 years before. Hmm. And you were born 1 year after. But how much of a difference does it make? We don't even remember back then, right? I mean, we were basically in the same situation, more or less. Because by the time I can remember everything, YouTube was there. YouTube is like one of the first things I remember. YouTube also fucked me up, not just with Go anime videos, but it's where my giant test fetish was born because these motherfuckers would post unrestricted videos of these giant chicks destroying cities, and for someone like me who got curious about that shit, it was not a fun time to be 10 to 11. Damn, dude. And that's the other thing I don't get. That gets me like conspiratorial. And I think we talked about this before at the same screen in the game. It's like, why the unrestricted internet access so young? It's like ubiquitous. Like everybody, it happened to everybody of our generation. It's like, why? Uh, I mean, I kind of get it, but I kind of don't. It's like I said before, that just seems like it would have been like, oh, we had this new technology, and maybe the kids don't need to be on that until they're older. And a part of me is like, oh, well, with the next generation, right? We've kind of learned our lesson. And then I see kids that are on iPads in the single digits. And it's like, damn, and I don't know if I mentioned this last time. Did I mention, okay, you're born in a generation, every generation has something that was like either manifested itself in a new way or hadn't been seen before. But either way, it takes people by surprise, I would like to think, and it has an effect on that generation, right? Some are negative, some positive, but you get my point. And that generation grows and they have kids and they remember what happened and they react accordingly, right? But when you have something that fucks people up so badly that during their childhood that they don't want to have kids and they don't have kids later, then it's like, well, the ones that it happened to, it's like a part of me wants to have kids because I know I could protect them at least from what happened to me. Like I know the dangers, but the other part of me is like my childhood was so ruined and fucked up, and my upbringing, like my parents were okay, but like the things that I know about fucked me up so much that I don't like want to have kids because I'm just in such a negative place mentally and spiritually. And it's like, okay, fair enough, but also because I don't have kids, I can't pass on that lesson. And it's like if something fucks people up so badly they don't have kids, then it's like the information does not get passed down. It's like the only people that have kids are the people that it didn't happen to. And I know that's not true. I know at least some people that struggle with the things I struggle with are going to have kids. I've seen them do it or getting, fixing to do it. But it's like, what's the ratio? Like you would think that probably a lot of the people that have kids are probably normies that, it didn't happen to them or it happened, they didn't think about it, didn't care, didn't reflect. And I don't know, man. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but it's just like the back and forth I have about having kids. I'm probably not going to because I'm just like, it's just too much. I don't get it. I forgot how I got introduced to this niche kink, but too long didn't read. I got curious. I ended up being aroused and fell down that whole rabbit hole. Yeah, same with me. It was just too early. And it sucks. Because, like, I've had pretty much every fetish under the sun. And I just wonder what would I even be like today if that didn't happen? Like imagine if I'd never what is it like to have never been exposed to porn at a young age? A lot of people in this generation don't fucking know. Think about that. Who knows how big of a, is it not that big of a deal? Maybe it is for some people, maybe not for others, but I just think about that for myself. Like if I had never been exposed to porn, I just think my life would be very I think my life would be unrecognizable. Or if I hadn't been exposed to it until later on. Yeah, I didn't even have a chance to develop. I saw porn before I even started puberty. I didn't have a chance. I was already hooked. And my parents were like good people. I had great parents. But if I were to have any criticism of them, it'd probably be that I mean, they had three kids. And I shut myself out. But like, sometimes I wish that they didn't let me shut myself out because not even just porn, but just in general, like just developing in general, I didn't develop because of that, the way that I could have. And it's like they kind of respect my autonomy, and that's great. But also, like I sometimes I kind of wish that they didn't. Um, I just kind of feel like I would like go, play on the GameCube all day, and they would be like, "Oh, well, Drew's just on the GameCube, and that's fine." And maybe forget about me. I would shit, but like I don't know if I my biggest if I were to hold anything against them, it would probably be that. And I don't think I hold them against them, but like I don't know, man. I was a difficult child. I could see why they wouldn't want to deal with me all the time. I never reflected about my internet fiascos until just now because, like, outside of the internet, I luckily had a normal elementary school life. Well, YouTube and browsing on DeviantArt on my Wii U internet browser back in 2016, 2018. That shit actually hit hard, even if I saw the weirder side of DeviantArt. Yeah, I remember I was on Tumblr. I was all over Tumblr. I wish I could find my old Tumblr account. That's when I got into like furries and stuff, and just everything. I was a feminist when I was younger, and that's how I got started with feminism was through Tumblr. I remember there was a virus that went around, or not a virus, but there was like that 4chan attack. Man, they said to delete System 32, and we were on System 32 is Windows, right? We were on Mac. There was like a post that said, "Oh, 4chan's hacking people's accounts. If you see System 32 on your computer, delete it." And I was a little goober back then. I didn't know what that meant. I looked up System 32, couldn't find it. I was like, "Oh, thank God I didn't get hacked." If we had a Windows computer, I would have deleted System 32 and bricked it back then. Those were the days, man. But it's weird. A part of me is like, I like that I basically was raised on the internet and I want to embrace it because it was great. You know, I mean, there was great things about it. You know, I probably wouldn't draw if it weren't for that. I probably wouldn't be as creative. But then there's just also the part of me that wonders how I would have turned out if I had never been so hooked on the internet and video games and all of that and that whole lifestyle. You know, I appreciate being able to live probably a different life than what most people live. I have a very unique psychological architecture. Uh, you could say. I think it's miraculous that I'm even still around, like I said, because I was depressed for so long. But here I am, and I'm still more or less who I am. It's just, I don't know. I don't know, man. Something about seeing hot chicks destroying cities like fucking Godzilla is something special. Giantess is something I found interesting, but not sexually. I've been fascinated by like those illustrations, but it was never sexual for me. I didn't see it when I was that young. And it's also because it is like inherently it's non-sexual. Like most fetishes are like sex or nudity related, but a giantess is just like a really big girl. It doesn't have to be naked, doesn't have to be wearing, you know, scantily clad clothing, or doesn't have to be scantily clad. Um, it's one of those fetishes where it's like something that otherwise would not be sexual at all, which some fetishes are like, uh, and some aren't. But it's like otherwise not sexual at all. But if you have the fetish, then it is, which is just interesting. You know, and even the concept of a fetish is kind of bizarre to me. Like, why does that exist? Why is it possible to get like hooked on something oddly specific? What like purpose does that serve? Because like, is it built in? I kind of don't think so. But also, like at the same time, like okay, if you have a fetish, is that like something that you come out the box with? You know, and who knows what kind of spiritual? It could be like spiritual in nature. I guess it would have to be if you come out the box with it, right? But it's like, do you? Like a part of me is like, no, you don't. Like you get like you see stuff and it becomes a fetish for you. But like you can see this or that and not develop a fetish for it. You can see it in a sexual context and not develop a fetish for it. You either do or don't. It's a strange thing. Like it seems like it's not inherent, but also kind of seems like it is. You know, like 'cause somebody else might see a furry when they're really young, it's kind of hot, and not develop a thing for it, but I will. Or somebody might see a giantess when they're really young and not get a thing for it, but you will. Or whatever. It's like what's up with that? If you have a shit or fat fetish, you seriously need to seek a counselor. Yeah, I mean, I don't have every fetish. There's some that I'm glad I don't have. But also at the same time, there's a part of me that wishes that I did have every fetish because I'm so close, you know? It's like I have like almost every puzzle piece. or maybe not every. I have a lot, but not all of it. I guess I don't find anything. There's almost nothing I find like that really puts me off or turns me off. Is the better way to put it. Like I might not have like a super crazy fetish for everything, but nothing really turns me off for the most part that I can think of. Almost everything is either I'm attracted to it or it doesn't really bother me, which is so fucked up. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, or at the very least, there's like, I don't think there's anything I can look at that makes me like, that's what it is. That's what there's stuff I can see that's like, okay, I wouldn't like jerk off to that. But there's almost nothing that I like viscerally react to. Like I feel like I could look at pretty much anything and not really be bothered by it because I've just been so raised on the internet and raised on porn that just doesn't affect me. Which is like I'm kind of proud of that, but I'm also kind of not because again, it's like where would I be if that wasn't the case? I don't know what it feels like to be disgusted by porn. I don't know what that feels like. I've seen too much. I don't have that sense of disgust, or at least I do, but it's extremely um muted. I just don't have that. I have like, that's not really what I'm into, but I don't like other people who have not been like conditioned like you or me will like see something that is like out there sexually and they'll be like, "Oh," like it like really it's like, "Oh shit," like, "Oh, that's gross." That's like, you know what I mean? Like somebody might see, "Oh, just Nismo Racer 000, welcome to the stream, just stopping by to say hi before trying to sleep." You joined in at the craziest possible time. You picked a crazy time to join the stream. We are talking about crazy. If we're talking about sexual fetish things, you might want to. If you're just going to go to bed, you might want to go ahead and do that. I'm gonna lay off the throttle here and give you a chance. But let's see. By the way, if you make your hair color silver, you essentially got my OC pretty much. I saw those messages. Your OC looks sick, especially making her in Saints Row. That was dope. But yes, actually, this is actually super close. Maybe I will. I want to unlock this. I want the pigtails so bad. Short probably cool, but I really want those pigtails. But no, thanks for dropping by, man. I appreciate it. You gotta have a good rest. I'm probably gonna go to sleep myself. I did plan to draw this stream. I probably will just so I didn't lie, so I can still fulfill my promise. But I'm probably not gonna draw for like more than like 15, 30, 45 minutes. We'll see. Have you played Road Trip Adventure? Actually, I feel like we could probably stand to depart from the conversation we were having earlier. I feel like that was getting somewhere pretty extensive that I didn't really want to go. So let's just go and talk about. Have you played Road Trip Adventure, also known as Korokyu HG2? No, I haven't, and you're welcome. Thank you. I actually have not played that. Is that something I should check out? I think one of these days, you guys have mentioned a lot of games to me. I should have a stream where I play all of them for like maybe 30 minutes at a time, just so everybody can get their chance. I think that would be cool. Small Cars World. Huh. Oh, actually, oops, that's on me. It was because I'm just now realizing how screwed up I became starting in fourth grade, so my bad. You're saying you're just now realizing? You said that a couple times. If you're just now realizing, I want to, um, well, I want to tell you that I know how it feels to just now realize. It's bizarre, isn't it? Like, all this time, I feel the same way. It's like all you grew up with it because it's like so you never really thought about it because it was introduced so early. You grew up with it. It was just part of your normal. and it still is for me. And you never really thought it. And same thing happened to me. I I did not really think about it until 20 fucking 3, 24, 25. Recently. It was on, I mean, it was on me for starting this rabbit hole of a conversation. Oh, you're good, man. I appreciate that you started it because it's kind of helps me to talk about these things. I would have been probably silent this whole stream if you didn't if you didn't talk to me about this stuff or bring some stuff up. I mean, it's I don't know, man. Like I just want to tell you, I know how it feels to like suddenly realize like, oh, this thing that I've been living with my entire life could have just not been there. And it's like, how do I feel about that? You know, it's like a part of me likes the way that I am and likes that I was brought up like this. But a part of me doesn't. And that's where I'm at now. And maybe that's where you'll be at. It's like, oh, like, damn, you know, like, and it's like, it starts with that first realization. It just gets more and more profound after that because it's like, fuck. It's something that just like, it keeps hitting you. You know, it keeps coming back for more. But don't think about it too much. Don't like fixate on the past. If you feel some type of way about it, then that's cool. And that can inform your decisions going forward. Don't fixate on it though, and it's gonna happen. If you're having the level of realization that I had, it's gonna happen. You're gonna probably beat yourself up about it. Fucking don't. Because all this shit happened before you even knew what it was. So just be like, all right, what now? Just no pressure, man. I mean, there is pressure, but you need to have a mindset of no pressure. You need to have a mindset of I'll say this until the day I die. The extent to which you should think about the past is only to the extent to which it informs your present decisions and your future decisions. Thinking about the past any more than that is poison that will kill you. So that's all I can say. That's probably the most important. If you don't remember anything else, just remember only think about the past as much as you need to inform your present and future decisions. That's it. Anything past that, it's like drinking too much alcohol. You're gonna fucking vomit it out and have to get back to baseline that way. You know? And decontaminate. Anyways, and to get back to the lighter end of things, I do want to kind of move on from this. This is pretty heavy, you know. I feel like I've several times I've ended the stream on something extremely heavy. I think we could stand to lighten things up a little bit. Um, I can help you get set up on Xenia for Ridge Racer 6, Project Gotham Racing 3 and 4, Dead or Alive 4. Ridge Racer 7 is my favorite. I sometimes have difficulties with life, sometimes, yeah. I do have self-hatred upon myself. I don't know why, lol. I don't know why either. Shit, even to this day, I still have self-hatred. I don't know why. But at least you recognize it as self-hatred as opposed to recognizing it as fact. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm about to be right back. I'm gonna get some water, and then I'll get started again. Give me 1 sec. Okay, I am back. Uh, Definitely gonna be ending in the stream soon, but I do want to draw just so I once again I'm not a liar. Uh, I'm gonna draw a little bit. Uh, Excuse me. So let me think. I'm probably just gonna draw Lily, realistically. Just do a quick sketch. By the way, if you do decide to just sit on your ass for a night or two, hit me up and I can go on and on about why I am who I am today. Yeah, man. Honestly, I mean, this is how deep of a conversation we have on stream. So I can only imagine like a one-on-one private conversation would probably be probably good for both of us, honestly. But honestly, I feel like we're almost damn near talking about everything. The only difference is you don't have a mic. I feel like honestly, we've gotten pretty deep on stream, but it's just voice to text. So it'd be cool to talk voice to voice with you. Um, but yeah, man. I'm going to. We're gonna go ahead and draw a little bit, and then I'm probably gonna go ahead and cut the stream. Let's see. What's it called? I got Rita. I did have like I was gonna have music and whatever, but because we're not gonna be streaming for that long, I'm not gonna do music because it'd be kind of pointless. But I do have that for when we do actually stream. Let's do A4 paper. Uh, yeah, and I would probably. I mean, who knows? I would stream for longer drawing, but it's just that I didn't start that early in the day. Sorry to be cutting into my bedtime. Honestly, everybody's going to bed. Uh, fuck. Okay. I actually beat Project Gotham Racing 3's career 2 to 3 days ago. Legendary game. I now have a sudden appreciation for classical music thanks to it. There's classical music in Project Gotham Racing. That's funny. Let me go ahead and get some reference real quick. Literally, I'm probably just gonna make like a bust drawing. So that we're not here forever. Probably next time, probably tomorrow, I'm going to just draw. Or something. Or at least start with drawing so that we can get a decent amount in. I can actually, have a proper drawing stream as opposed to, tekken and drawing, and the drawing is 10 minutes at the very end of the fucking. Anyways, let's see. And I gotta get Tekken 8. I really do. I will. All in good time. How the fuck do you... Yeah, this was deep as hell. Unfortunately, you're so busy most of the time, which means we can barely do voice to voice now. Yeah, I've got to find the time. I don't talk to people enough, really. Fuck. How do you import images on here? Okay, here we go. Got my reference pulled up. Hopefully that's like... that's kind of low resolution, but we'll make it work. Fuck. Classical music actually fits really well with PGR, seeing as how you have to drive good in addition to getting first place. That's the best time. You know what else had classical music? And I think about it, Burnout Paradise. So maybe we're on something with that. It's not the only game. Now I think about it. Burnout Paradise with the classic music. There was something so fucking funny. Like in Project Gotham Racing, it at least fits a little bit more. In fucking Burnout Paradise, that was a bit. The classical music in Burnout Paradise was a bit. It was a joke. It was so fucking funny to drive through that shit. Just obliterating everything. Oh no, I drag up the mouse now. It's odd. Fuck me. Oh, you're joking. Oh, no, you can enter a number. You can enter a number. God, that was going to drive me fucking crazy. Now, what brush size do we use here would be the question. That's too big. Oh my god. No. One pixel. It's going back to what the fuck? 1.0. There we go. Now I'm willing to bet that's too small. Let's go 2, 4, 10. I think 10 works. Yeah, let's do 10. Sure, fuck it, why not? Okay. Yes, creating casualties to Bach. Truly the way to play Burnout Paradise. Is that how you pronounce it? Bach? Surely it's Bach, right? Oh, the shit is higher resolution now. Isn't that nice? Holy fuck. Alright, anyways, I guess just need to load in. Here's nothing I get. Again, I just have to... And that's why it sucks that I'm only drawing, like, real quick, because I'm not going to be... It's not going to go well. It's already not going well. My hand-eye coordination is fucking destroyed. I've been drawing on paper in real life for fucking... ever. Oh my god, this is terrible. Should I use smoothness? People do that. Should I... I feel like that's cheating, but it's probably already enabled. Maybe that's what's fucking me up. There's, in these drawing programs, there's like a... I don't know what it does. It's not cheating. I just know it's not cheating. But there is like a smoother. That's like... It's almost like aim assist when you're playing Call of Duty with a controller, you know? Configure Krita. Tablet settings. Brush speed smoothing. That might be it. Huh. Well, it would definitely be in here. Canvas input settings. General. And I don't remember. I don't have one of those tablets where you can look and see the tablet screen, like see what you're drawing. I just have a blank screen, which is better, actually. If you're going to be really seriously drawing a lot, it's actually better to not have a tablet with a screen on it, because that way you're looking up at the monitor, and that's better for your your old neck and shoulders. You know, if you're going to be seriously drawing a lot, and not everybody does that, of course, because it's nice to be able to look and see and draw on the tablet like you can with real paper. But I've heard that's the strat. If you're going to be drawing for long periods of time, often, you don't want to be craning your neck down looking at a tablet screen. Anyways, I'm doing all this fucking talking because I realize I cannot draw for shit on a computer. And I'm stalling. Maybe we... Well, that's driving me fucking crazy. So sorry, we're genuinely doing everything but drawing. Uh, there we go. All right. Let's see. I'm getting drained from all that talking about the hellish internet. Good night, Sparks. Hey, good night, man. Thanks for coming. I actually did send a message earlier, and I'll resend that since you missed it. But it'll be my last one aside from a good night for real message. Good night, man. Get some good sleep. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you giving us a lot to talk about. This was a really good stream. So for me, I mean, I really don't know how to describe how GTS gets me hard. It got into overdrive during my 2D beginnings when I was like, oh, what if this character or that one was a giant, and so on, and then it's just snowballed from there. I'm sure. Man, I just cannot wrap my head around drawing like this. I'm gonna need a stream to actually even just get, and it's not even like I'm that good at drawing anyways. So I'm really having a hard time with this. Good night for real. Good night, man. Sweet, sweet dreams. Man. Okay. I'm not gonna try to make like a perfect drawing. This is just quota. This is just I'm just doing this because I said I would. It was great heavens. Uh, hold on. Am I struggling right now? Oh. feel like I want to go bigger brushstroke, maybe. Yeah, definitely. Oh shit. Whoa. Why is everything disappearing? If I'm just getting rid of that layer. There we go. Man, this shit really ain't easy. You know, it's funny, when I think before I even touched Tekken, I also tried Street Fighter. Maybe I tried both at the same time when I was kind of trying to branch out from Dead or Alive. Anyways, um, I found something pretty funny, which is that when I played Street Fighter, I played as Karin Kanzuki, and obviously here in Tekken I'm playing as Lily. And if you know, you know, they're like very similar characters. So I thought that was kind of funny that I very clearly was choosing my characters based off of their appearance and personality more than anything else. Or maybe it's a coincidence. But no, really, I don't. I pick the character, and this is how you should play fighting games, is that I pick the character that I think looks cool, and then I figure out how to play them. You guys are going to have to bear with me while I'm learning how to do this shit again. Because like I said, I mean, even if I were like a good artist, I'd be struggling right now. I'm okay at drawing, but we're dealing with like two problems here. There's that I'm not super skilled. Plus, I haven't drawn on a computer in a long time. I'm not even going to detail the eye yet. Let's just keep things simple. Let me just make it like a circle. Mom and Dad, I'm doing fine. You guys are on my mind. You asked me what I want to be, and I think that's a response. I wanna be famous. I'm watching I watched Tool Jam Island the other night, and the intro stuck in my head. Doing so much more clicking than drawing right now. Wanna live close to the sun. Pack bags of armor. Man, I feel like I'm probably not gonna be a big fan. I'm struggling, bro. I haven't done this in a long time. I haven't been drawing in real life, so we're like triple struggling. I'm gonna really need to give this some time tomorrow, man. Na, na, na. Oh my god. I actually feel like it might be beneficial. Oh no. I have my old shortcuts memorized. I think it might be beneficial to actually make the outline from really far away. Actually, that might be the strat. Holy fuck. See, that's the thing when you're drawing digitally and you're struggling, when you're trying to get used to it, you gotta remember to really use everything to your advantage. Like, for example, it's kind of easier to see proportions and try and get them right from far away because you can see a better vantage point in a way. You know, it's harder to see what's wrong when you're really close to it. You gotta get a little view on it. Like you might know that something's wrong, but it's hard to see what it is. Like I'm zooming out and squinting my eyes. The jaw, I feel like needs to get worked on, but I'm gonna worry about that later. It's a little bit, oops, a little too round. Whoa. Sorry. Ringing a fucking bell in your ear. It's my water bottle hitting my glass of water hitting the lamp, the desk lamp. The big fuck off desk lamp I bought from IKEA. You know what? The IKEA near my house, it closed down. And when I say near my house, I mean 30 minutes. But everything is 30 minutes from my house. Close the fuck down, dude. I am sick about it. Sick, I tell you. And the worst thing about it is just simply the fact that there's one table. I have the same set of legs, and there's one table I get over and over again from IKEA because I destroy it. You know, pretty much on a regular routine, I destroy it. I get upset about something. I get tilted. I'm sure about something. I destroy the desk. But the legs are fine. So we reuse the legs and we get a new tabletop from my local IKEA. I've been doing that for years. I've probably gone through, I mean, I had the same table for a long time. Excuse me, for a long time, and then I just started destroying them. And once I destroyed that one, it just became like a regular thing. So sorry. I destroyed my desk this time around this year. Okay, happened maybe one other time this year. And it's time to get a table. There's no IKEA. No IKEA means no table. I got to order online now, which is just not convenient. I mean, it is. It's thought of as being more convenient, but I was ready to get this table, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna drive to IKEA and get it. It's like, no, I gotta order it and wait. Fuck. Man, this drawing really is probably not gonna turn out all that well. But can you blame me for it? Like, I guarantee if I made this on paper, it'd be looking so much better. Oh shit, my phone's gonna die. Let me just see if I can like speed run this before my phone dies, because I really do need to go to bed as well. Barely even using the reference at this point. I'm not trying to draw exactly like that anyways. Fuck. Oh my god. I wouldn't mind doing this if I just had like more time. To make mistakes and figure things out here. Look, that's just gonna have to be good enough. I'm sorry. Those are the breaks. I'm not losing sleep over an eyebrow. I'm really sorry to half-ass this. It almost probably would have been better if I just didn't do this at all and wait until I actually had time. But it is what it is. I made my decision. Okay. So now we go. That hair height is probably a little high. Here. Oh shit! I had not checked chat in a fucking while. I thought you were gone. And I also thought I was gonna be done this drawing a lot sooner than I am. Let me read what you said there. Good night. My ass is not tired, so I came back. I tried going to bed, but they ate melon instead, which is fun. Fair enough. Welcome back. Now, I gotta warn you, I'm probably not gonna be lasting too much longer here. You might be looking at this drawing being like, oh, surely he's got like another 30, 45 minutes before this is done, right? Brother, this ain't getting done. This is about as done as it's gonna be. That and I felt guilty about leaving you alone. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I was a little lonely. In a second though, you gonna be alone. Because I'm like I can barely keep my eyes open at this stage. Now, how do I make the jaw look correct here? I guess that's better. Not quite there. Hey, but won't it be easier, right, to fall asleep knowing that I'm falling asleep at the exact same time, right? And let me tell you, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go out like a log, and most likely, either that or I like watch some Five Nights at Freddy's video essay and I totally fuck my sleep schedule for the whole week. But either way, we're in this together. You know, I find it's a little difficult to go straight from streaming to sleeping. Fuck, man, it's like they're just these are two different people's faces on each side, and they're like fighting for control. Hold on, come in closer here, like right here. I think that's the difference. And maybe it should have been the other way around. Maybe I should have made her right be like her left. That's better. I think that's as much as we're going to be doing for now. Yeah, we're in this together, gang. I can live with that. Honestly, this is going a little bit better than I thought it would. I'm not saying this is a really like good drawing. I've definitely done better, but for a first one back from being on paper for the better part of 5 years, it's not bad. See if we can get these eyes just a little bit more similar, just a little bit. will erase. I'm gonna leave it pretty, sketchy, but I'm gonna erase some of the guidelines here. Oh my god. It's just a little uneven. Just a little. It sucks because on paper you could like leave it not flipped over. You can hold it up to a light or turn the paper upside down to see your mistakes. And you could just not do that and not have to worry about it. But on computer, all you got to do is hit a button to see it in reverse. So you can't run away from your from your. You can't gaslight yourself. How's that? That works. She looks not white, but that's okay. I mean, no, she looks Asian. Not necessarily, but like definitely more than I intended. Because her eyes are a little bit more like a, like a one, two, three, four. And her eyebrows also are not necessarily the way I depicted. Like, yeah, I'm kind of doing it in my own style, but I could have done a better job making that actually look like her. This looks absolutely nothing the fuck like her. So what we do here is we just add a little bit of the outfit that she has. And then be like, what do you mean it isn't Lily? Look, she has her outfit on. That, you can barely see that. I don't have to go that far down. My oh my. Goodness me oh my. Alright, well, that's all you're getting for tonight. Like I said, probably would have been better if I just did stream drawing until I was actually ready. But it is what it is. Hey, tomorrow's gonna look different. We're gonna get back into it tomorrow. It's not a terrible drawing. Not this. It's not. It's just not what I meant to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Good night for real this time. Stream's over. The shenanigans are coming to a conclusion here for the both of us. So thank you for joining the stream. Have a good night. And I will more than likely see you tomorrow.